first is Manchester City against Chelsea tomorrow, which means two of England's most informed players will be going head to head.
Once Pep leaves, I think his greatest legacy will be Phil Foden.
Like I say, it's our diamond, the little one, because he's come from the academy.
Pep's right, he's probably been the best player in the Premier League.
You know, he's the Stockport Iniesta.
Don't worry about a thing, because every little thing's going to be all right if you've got Cole Palmer in your team.
He's pulled it back, and it's tucked in by Palmer.
He's Chelsea's best player already. He's now become the main man.
Palmer with an effort, edge of the box, and sends a screamer in towards the near post.
Where would Chelsea be without Cole Palmer this season?
We cannot have a player of Cole Palmer's quality not starting for England.
Now Gareth's got a big, huge, great problem to have.
Wow, two incredible players. And Pep Guardiola has been speaking to the media ahead of his semi-final against Chelsea tomorrow and was asked about Chelsea's new superstar, Cole Palmer, and revealed the midfielder wanted to leave the Etihad for quite some time.
This is an exceptional player. We knew when he was here. I'm happy for him because a lovely guy, a shy guy, have an incredible potential. Otherwise, he would not be here. What can I say? The decision has been made for many reasons. He was asking 2 seasons to leave. During 2 seasons, to leave. I said, no, stay. At the end, no, I want to leave. I said in the preseason, stay because Riyadh is gone. I said, no, I want to leave. After 2 seasons, what can I say?
Manchester City manager there, Pep Guardiola, talking about his former player, Cole Palmer, who we call Cold Palmer because he's ice cold. Now, Rory, you've had a torrid time this season as a Chelsea fan, even though you're in a semi-final of FA Cup. You've had a final of a League Cup. But this guy, he saved your season because I tell you what, I turn on to watch Chelsea to see him.
Oh, he's certainly worth watching. I agree. But his box office, he's Hollywood. What he's done for Chelsea, it's comparable. I mean, this isn't me saying that he's better than the player I'm about to mention, or saying that I believe he's going to have the same career or anything like that. I just mean in terms of bursting onto the scene and changing the landscape of the Premier League. I think he's having a season comparable to that introduction of Wayne Rooney. Like, nobody could have anticipated Cole Palmer doing what he's doing.
No way.
Like, he's turned up at Chelsea, a club that are in disarray, and I think that he's going to win a Golden Boot. A Golden Boot when you've got Erling Haaland in the league, you've got Mohamed Salah in the league, you've got Ollie Watkins on the form of his life, playing for a brilliant Aston Villa team under a wonderful manager.
You've got Son with no Kane.
You've got Son. It's amazing. It's truly amazing, and he is far and away our standout player. He's far and away our most important player, and if you think about where Chelsea would be without him, I think that really does demonstrate how brilliant he has been.
Foden has 22 goals and 10 assists in 46 games in all competitions, 14 goals and 7 assists in the 30 Premier League games. However, Palmer has 25 goals and 13 assists in 41 games in all competitions, 20 goals and 9 assists in 28 Premier League appearances. Now, double figures in your first season properly in the Premier League is just outstanding in itself.
It totally is, Madge. And the other thing I think you have to do, I think we all have to do this, is put it in context. Like, scoring goals for a Chelsea team who don't really have a centre-forward. We don't really have much of a support for him. Our midfield has been all over the place. Our defence has often been in total disarray. I believe our manager should be sacked. Scoring goals for this Chelsea team isn't easy. And, you know, it's all very well to compare Foden to Palmer. And look, don't get me wrong, I've said many times on this show that I think Phil Foden is having the season of his life and he's the best player in the Premier League. But it's far easier to play for Manchester City. OK, the stakes are higher. OK, there's more jeopardy. OK, the pressure is on you. But it's far easier to play with Kevin De Bruyne and with Bernardo Silva than it is to play for a Chelsea team that have issues throughout the side, you know?
It's funny that you should say that because, of course, in that audio we heard from Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola, he sounded quite frustrated, saying, look, I wanted him to stay. 2 seasons now. He's telling me, no, I want to go.
Yeah,
I think there's probably something in there of he wanted more regular football, right?
Yes.
And I think he's the type of kid that backs himself because he knows his ability. That's why he can step up to a penalty and do the penalties that he takes.
I mean, the way that he speaks about penalties as well, it's such an interesting angle from him. You know, most players, when they're asked about penalties, they say it's a very difficult thing and it's an art form and, you know, goalkeepers make life very difficult for you. It was put to him about missing a penalty and he couldn't process it. It was an amazing reaction from him. He basically went, what, miss a penalty? Of course I'm not going to miss a penalty. It's a ridiculous thing to even suggest. He really has that belief in himself. He has that arrogance that you need, I think, to get to the very top. And I do understand why Pep Guardiola would be frustrated, because the way that he likes to manage young players, if you use Phil Foden as a case study, for example, Phil Foden was often told that he needs to go on loan. And Pep Guardiola said no. He's going to be a better player training with De Bruyne, training with David Silva, training with Bernardo Silva. He's going to be a better player. Keep him around. And we're seeing that that's true now. But there have been time and time again where he could have gone out on loan and could have left.
Got a message here. Cole Palmer on for the Golden Boot, but 9 penalties. Does that take away from the achievement?
No, I don't think it does. I don't understand why people were sneery about penalties. Like, scoring penalties is a skill in itself. Not missing penalties is worthy of praise, not worthy of criticism. And yeah, the fact that he scored 9 penalties is something to be applauded. It's not easy sticking the ball in the back of the net from the penalty spot.
No, 100%.
He makes it look easy, but
he talks about it like it's easy.
He talks about it like it's easy, but it's not. Also, he scored 9 penalties. But the other night, we watched him score a perfect hat-trick.
Yeah.
We're constantly told that Jarrad Branthwaite is an exceptional defender who should be playing for England, and on some level, I don't disagree with that assessment of Branthwaite. I do like him, I do rate him, and I do think the future's really bright for him. But Cole Palmer's perfect hat-trick in, 15 minutes?
And then the week before, on the other Monday night game, Manchester City step up and Foden delivers with that Wayne Rooney-esque annoyed kick that he scored. And who's had the better season out of Foden and Palmer?
I think Phil Foden has probably had a better season. Not necessarily because Cole Palmer's isn't as good, but because of what Foden's is going to mean.
Yeah.
Scoring meaningful goals, scoring goals that are going to drive Manchester City probably to a title, scoring goals that are possibly going to drive Manchester City to a double is more impressive than scoring goals for a team that are lurking around mid-table. Just like scoring goals for Manchester City is probably more impressive than scoring goals for Aston Villa. It's not that Ollie Watkins hasn't had a good season, but Phil Foden, if his team end up winning the league, it will be because of his contribution, and that needs to be brought into the equation when we try and assess who's had a better season.
The next question we need to ask ourselves, because as an England fan, and I'm seeing these young lads popping up, and they are a special breed of player. They're fearless. They've got this energy. You look at the future of England with Bellingham, Foden, Palmer, just to name a few.
I know. It's amazing, isn't it? Do you know, I think you've phrased this perfectly, Madge, in a way that I 100% agree with. Do you know what I find incredibly frustrating? And it seems to be the approach at the moment. Seeing it as a problem. Seeing it as a difficulty. If we try and frame it that Gareth Southgate really does have a hard job on his hands because he has to somehow accommodate world-class player after world-class player after world-class player. It's a gift.
Nice
it's something
problem
that
to have.
it's not a problem in the true definition of the word problem. It would be like saying you have too many £50 notes for your wallet. Your wallet doesn't fit. Like, it's not a problem, is it? It's not a problem. This is something that can't be framed as a problem. And England...
I know you've been guessing the scores right lately, but I didn't know your wallet was that far.
But look, England have a situation where somehow Gareth Southgate has to come up with the right formula that includes Phil Foden, Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham, Bukayo Saka, Phil Foden and Cole Palmer and Harry Kane. That's not a problem. That is just an amazing situation and something that I think England need to make the most of. We should be going to Germany and, June the 24th, we should be going to the Olympic Stadion and winning in Berlin.
But only one of them can start.
No, that's not true.
But I'm saying to you, if only one of them starts at number 10, who should it be?
I'm going to push back at you because I don't believe that only one of them can start. I think that a manager who is adept and skillful...
Yeah, but it's Gareth Southgate. Gareth Southgate says to himself, only one of these boys can start. Who's it going to be?
Can I tell you how you accommodate them all? I've got a plan.
Go on,
I've got a plan.
I want the plan.
Right, so Declan Rice, despite playing in a more adventurous role for Arsenal, you ask him to sit very deep.
Jude
Bellingham, despite playing as basically a number 10, you ask him to sit a bit deeper in the 8.
Yeah.
You play Phil Foden as the 10, just behind Harry Kane. You play Cole Palmer on the left. So it goes Cole Palmer, Harry Kane and Bukayo Saka with Phil Foden behind. And I tell you what's going to happen fairly soon. There's going to be some very uncomfortable conversations about Bukayo Saka's place in the England team if Cole Palmer keeps playing this way.
Yeah.
At some point, fairly soon, Bukayo Saka's place that is now just seen as a give-me in the way that Raheem Sterling on the other side was once.
Yeah, of course.
That was a gimme once, wasn't it? Like Raheem Sterling, he had that place sewn up, and there was a debate to be had over who played on the other side. At various points, it was Saka, Mason Mount, Phil Foden. Now, I think that there is going to be a genuine conversation around, is it Bukayo Saka or is it Cole Palmer?
Well, let's ask you guys at home, 03717 22344. That's 03717 22344. Palmer or Foden? You can only choose one of them to be in your England team. I know you've come against me and said no. We can have both, and I agree with that. But Gareth Southgate holds all the cards.
He does.
And we know that he's probably likely to play one of them, not two.
And if he does that, annoyingly, I think he will do that, and I think it simply has to be Phil Foden.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.